All right, folks. I'm leaving tomorrow morning, and I'm going on a quick overnight trip with Maddie from Maddie Outdoors and Justin from Justin Outdoors. So we're all leaving separately. Maddie's coming from Edmonton, and Justin and I are coming from Calgary, but we're all driving on separate vehicles. And we're just going to go do an overnight along the House River Flat. So Evan's not joining me, so this is one of my rare trips without Evan, so I'm on my own for cooking, and I'm very lazy on this one. So, my usual prep for meals is pretty straightforward. I got a bin here of all sorts of stuff that I buy. I'm going to leave here tomorrow morning, so the first thing I need to do on the trail is we got about a 2-hour hike, 3 hours maybe, so I'm bringing this green belly meal to go. So it's 1/3 of a daily nutrition. Basically, it's my it's the lunch I'm going to have on the trail, and I probably won't eat all of this. This is 650 calories. That is a full meal. So if I stop on the trail, I'll boil some water and have a cup of soup, probably eat half of this content, and then I have a pouch so I can make myself a drink with some, add flavor to my water. Then on Sunday morning when I wake up, I have my oatmeal. I have a granola bar. I call these granola bars. It's a breakfast bar. I like my morning coffee, so I'm going to have 3 of these mocha coffees. Sometimes I only have 2. A drink for the day, and some trail mix that I will throw in my pocket. And tomorrow night, when I get to camp, if I'm lazy, I'll boil some water and have the simple, alpine air with some boiled water. Probably start with a soup. Actually, when I get in camp and I want to warm up, just a soup to warm up. A chocolate bar that I got from my daughter. Bring a couple of teas. And a couple of drinks. That's it. One more thing that I do, as I was going through the bag, I noticed I have these bags of peanuts and things like that, so I'm just going to throw trail mix, a bag of trail mix and a bag of chocolates. That'll go in my pockets. Boy, I probably got 2,500 calories here. There's no way I'm going to starve. So there, just wanted to show how easy it is to plan for one overnight. Didn't even go grocery shopping. I had everything I needed right here. Seems like I've done this a few times in the past, but people keep asking, so I'm happy to share again. This is my loadout. So I'm heading out tomorrow just for an overnight in winter, in middle of winter. There's going to be 3-4 feet of snow where we're going. We're going on in a remote area, not at a designated campsite. We're just going in a random area, and we're going to go bivouac. And so we're expecting some cold. Forecast is -10, -15 kind of climate. So this is my winter loadout for tomorrow, but it would also happen to be my winter loadout without much change for more than I could do 3-4 days with this loadout. So let's go through this loadout real quick and show you what I have. All right. So as I take the things, I'm going to put them on the ground, and then I'll repack them later. So in winter, something I don't bring in summer is a shovel. So this is a survival on snow. It's an avalanche shovel. It comes apart fairly easily in different pieces. And normally in here would be the Avalanche Pro, but I'm not going in avalanche country, so I'm just bringing the shovel. Now, a shovel is an extremely important and useful winter tool because I can use it to clear a spot where I want to put my tent. I can use it to clear around where I'm going to make a fire. I can use it to build a snow wall. I can use it to build a winter shelter. It has a lot of uses. I even use it to shovel snow and bring snow that I'm going to melt in my pot. So shovel going in the pack. And while we're on the topic of tools, I'm bringing a portable folding saw because we're allowed to burn firewood where we are, so we will collect dead trees, and this helps me buck them up. And I will bring an axe, so a small hatchet. Now, when I show up at the trailhead, I'm going with 2 other guys. So if 2 other guys, last thing we'll do before we head out is we'll have a powwow. So if somebody else has a shovel, I'll leave mine behind, and maybe I'll take the axe. But we only need one axe between 3 of us, one shovel, and one saw. So I'm bringing all 3 right now. There's no guarantee that I will pack all 3. All right, so that's it for tools. Now for shelter, basic shelter, I'm still using a 3-season tent. This one is my North Face Lunar Light. It's a 2-person tent, gives me a lot of room because in winter I end up with a lot more gear than I have in summer. So a 2-person tent is handy, and this is almost a 3.5 season because you'll see when it's set up, it doesn't have a lot of mesh on it. It's fairly solid in terms of the main tent and the fly over it. So it provides a lot of shelter from the wind, and the 2-man is useful because it gives me storage room. You know, when you're bringing extra gear in winter. And the only thing I took out of here is I took out the tent pegs. I don't need to anchor it in the winter. This one is a freestanding tent, but I can stake it with pieces of wood. Now, next thing, part of my sleep setup is the first thing I bring. This weighs next to nothing. This is like one of those deflectors that you put on your windshield if you live in the south somewhere and it gets hot. It's basically a mylar reflective sheet. It's the size of a tarp. It's about 6 feet by 4 feet, and this will go inside my tent. It's the bottom layer of my sleep system that keeps me. It helps deflect. It helps keep my heat from going through the ground and melting the snow underneath the tent. So part 1 of my setup. Part 2 of my setup is a standard yoga mat. So that goes on top of that reflective surface. And then part 3 is my Thermarest Neo Air. So this is one of the newer Thermarests. This one is about 1.5 inches thick. Not very heavy, pound and a bit. I love this thing. And then after I've set up those things on the ground, then I have my sleeping bag inside of a sleeping bag set up, and I've talked about that in other videos. So this is a 0 degrees Celsius 30F sleeping bag, and this one is like a 5-degree sleeping bag. So between these two, it gives me about 15 degrees of warmth. So when it's minus 15, it feels like 0 inside these bags, and I'll be quite. I've slept in this setup all the way down to minus 30 so far this year, and I'm always quite comfortable. All right, now in case I'm not in. Now, one of the things in winter is you sweat a lot, you get hot, and when you come around camp, you want to cool off. But you can stay in your hiking clothes around camp, especially when you got the fire, but you're still a little bit damp. So for your sleep system to work really efficiently, you need to be as dry as possible when you go to bed. And you also need to wear clothes, if you choose to wear clothes in your bag, that will let the heat out and not completely absorb all your sweat. So what I bring in terms of extra clothes is a pair of fleece pants. So these are the ones I sleep in. So when I go into my tent at night, it's miserable, but part of my routine before going to bed is to change out of my clothes. Even though they might feel dry, they're a little bit damp, my day clothes, so I switch into. So I bring a fleece pair of pants and a fleece shirt. And this happens to be a Columbia shirt. So I go to bed with that. And then I have a little pair of fleece mitts. So I guess I love fleece. But I often sleep, believe it or not, with my hands outside my bag, and I like to keep my hands warm. And I also have I wear my toque to bed. The toque that I wear during the day, I often wear to bed. So just for efficiency, I put my clothes in a separate pouch, and I'll show you. So. And an extra pair of socks. I will also change socks, and I will put on some dry socks when I go to bed. Now, a challenge when you go to bed, and I've talked about it you'll see it in some of my videos. When I go to bed, I tend to stuff things like batteries and my other socks in the bag with me to keep them warm, because if things are moist, even just a little bit, at night they'll freeze. So that's the extent of the clothing. It's not a lot. And apart from the jacket that I wear during the day, which is a nice North Face winter jacket, I bring, again, a fleece jacket. I love fleece. Fleece and wool are two of my favorites. So this comes with me. Now here's a fun item I like to bring on the trail is booties. Now these ones are synthetic, but they're by the North Face, but you can wear these around the campfire. So at the end of the day, you can take off your big boots, walk around with these, and I will actually stuff these in my sleeping bag when I'm sleeping at night, and then in the morning when I wake up, I have something warm to put on my feet to walk around the campsite. Another part of my loadout is this little thing, which weighs next to nothing, and that is just a little seat cushion, basically. And when I'm so out there, I'll either cut a log and make a seat out of trees, or because we have deep snow, you can compact the snow and carve out a seat. But if you put this, your butt doesn't get wet. So I'll bring that. Now, so I'm showing all the contents. Actually, part of my sleep system is an inflatable pillow. Then I have to bring a first aid kit. I never go anywhere without a first aid kit. There's not much in this first aid kit, but there's painkillers, and there's bandages, and a few things. So it's not a very fancy, complex first aid kit. I also bring a small pouch of what I call my repair kit. So in there are zip ties, some rope, some rings, some duct tape. Zip ties are extremely useful in the backcountry. You can use them to tie things together. You can use them to repair a broken buckle or replace a broken buckle. You can. It's surprising what you can do, and I don't bring a lot, but I bring a couple of those. I'll be wearing gloves during the day, and I'll bring an extra pair of gloves in case something happens. Now, I showed you the saw. I love these zip fire starters. These are, they weigh next to nothing. They're kind of like a styrofoam soaked in fuel. Because they're individually wrapped, they don't smell anything. You light the wrapper, you put it in your fire, and you have something to start a fire with very easily. My toiletry is straightforward. A couple of rolls of toilet paper, got some a lighter in there, a toothbrush, and some toothpaste. I'm not going to be taking showers or anything like that, so don't need all that. I got 3 meals or rations. So I got breakfast for. Actually, tomorrow I'll eat breakfast at home. I get on the road. I got lunch for tomorrow, dinner for tomorrow night, and breakfast for Sunday morning, and then we'll be out. So some food. There is always rope in my bag, and this is about 50 feet of 2mm rope. I can use it for, again, a variety of things. It's actually very useful in winter, or in summer. In winter, I'll still use it. I can string out a clothesline, and believe it or not, when you wake up in the morning and your sleeping bag's a little bit damp, if you hang your sleeping bag across a rope like this and some of your clothes, and you get the right day where there's a wind blowing and there's no snow falling, stuff will evaporate and will actually dry, just like our mothers used to do in the winter. So I bring a little bit of rope. These are so easy. My Nalgene, I haven't switched yet to, I love my Nalgene. I don't know why, I just love my Nalgene. I might switch over to a Smart Bottle at one point, but the Nalgene with the Martyupnorth logo comes with me. A headlamp. Days are already getting a lot longer, but we do have, I'll wake up in the morning at 7, sun doesn't come up till 8, so I got an hour in the morning where it's not, to be honest, this is not an absolute must, especially when you have a full moon out, which is not the case this week, but it's nice to have. At night, the sun goes down at 6, and if I stick around and stay up till 7, or till 10, which I absolutely will do tomorrow because I'm with friends, we're going to be sitting around the fire. It's nice to have a headlamp. My cook set is pretty straightforward. It's it's a teeny weeny little 750 milliliter pot, and in the pot I got my my BRS, my 25 gram stove, a canister of fuel. This is certainly enough for a day, but I probably won't even use it because I'm counting on fires. I got a pocket knife, a teeny wee little amount of dish soap, which I won't need because there's nothing that I'm going to eat that's sticky, or and then a little lighter in there, and I'll have a lighter in my pockets. And this goes in the bag. And I will also be bringing, because they weigh next to nothing, you've seen this a million times, I either eat out of there or out of this cup. This for my coffee mostly in the morning. A spoon and a fork. And this handy dandy, I didn't even show how this gets used, but this is a base for the fuel canister to give everything a little more stability. So that is the cook set. I bring a tripod for my camera. One thing I'm not showing, it's still in the bag, is a head mount for the GoPro. And then I bring 5 batteries and an extra memory card. I put the 5 batteries in this pouch, and I have a system, so when I replace a battery, actually I put the 5 batteries in this pouch, and then I put that into this pouch, and when I replace a battery, it doesn't go back into the gray pouch, it just goes in the black pouch. But what this black pouch ends up doing is that I can, because keeping batteries warm and your camera's functioning is a problem, so I have these hand warmers. You break open the hand warmer and you insert it in there, and you close the pouch, and then suddenly you have a nice way to keep your batteries warm. So I'll load all this in the pack. I'll weigh the pack to show everybody what it weighs, but this is my my loadout for a weekend overnighter in winter. If I double the rations, I could go for 2 days and I wouldn't need to change anything else. If I go for 3 days, then when I go for 3 days or 4 days, the odds of getting something wet increase, so then I will bring extra gloves, probably an extra shirt, and most certainly a pair of winter pants. I'd add a little bit of clothing for a longer trip because of the odds of getting seriously wet, and extra food. And like I said, it's almost the same as the summer loadout, minus only 1 sleeping bag in the summer, and I don't need the shovel. So that's it. That's my loadout. Okay, so zero cheating. So the pack right now, even there's even water. Okay, so this is full. So that's, that's 2 pounds of water. The axe is there. The sleeping bag, the tent is in there, the thermarest, the mattress. I've even got all my food. I even have the extra gloves. The batteries are in here. I even got a little bit of 125 milliliters of whiskey. So this is a full weight pack. This is what I will be carrying tomorrow. None of these base weights. Okay. Now let's weigh it, Ray. So this is the moment I always dread, because Big Bad Daddy weighs, don't push on me, Ray, 188.5 pounds. And then with the pack on, 188.5, and with the pack, 125.6, 188. So what's the math? 188, so and 125.6, so 25.6 plus 12, 37 pounds. So 37 pounds for full survival in the Canadian wilderness, in the mountains, and snow that's going to be this deep. There you have it, folks. Hope this was helpful for you. If you like it, hit the subscribe button. Give me a like. Throw some comments. Tell me about your pack, your weights, where you agree, disagree. And then I'm off, and I'm gone for 2 days. And when I come back, I'll post a video of the adventure with Maddie and Justin.